Hello everyone, and welcome to another series from Bingham University. As usual, my name is Mfawa Alfred Onen, aka Murphy, and with me is
Barka Fori, aka Boss.
Alright, so today we're going to show you something different. We're just going to spend about 30 minutes of our time trying to show you how to kind of use Gmail, like some tips and tricks about Gmail. A lot of you must have been thinking, what does Gmail has to do with developers, right? What do you think Gmail has to do with developers, Barka?
No, as developers, we always get news feeds, notification about updates and everything. So you may have more than 50 or 100 emails a day. So it's always good to find the easiest way to traverse through all those mails in the shortest time.
Yeah, and also, for me, I feel like developers, we are always, kind of having problems with our mouse. We feel like the mouse is not supposed to be an integral part of the system. We're always on our IDEs coding using all sort of shortcuts, right? Well, you guys are in luck because Gmail has tons of shortcuts that you're gonna find out today, and of course some very useful features that you can set up quickly and kind of make your emails kind of efficient. So without wasting so much time, we're just gonna get right into it. Berka, if you wanna chime in, of course you can chime in. Just to add up some stuff. All right, so the first thing we want to do here, you have a brand new email. You can see this looks like the typical email for a new kind of user. So but we're gonna turn you from a novice new user of Gmail to at least a power user, right? You're gonna learn some stuff, right? So you guys get ready to bookmark a lot of shortcuts, right? I'm gonna mention them, and hopefully we get to include it on the video. I'm gonna include some of the keys we're using here. Alright, so the first thing I want to quickly look at here is actually creating email signatures, right? A lot of people send emails and they don't have signatures. What do you think is wrong with that?
I think basically signatures help define the type of person sending the mail, and oftentimes it's actually better to set the signature so that you don't spend time typing something over and over.
For me, I think it's just for the whole single reason of why not use a signature. Signatures are great ways to add some basic info about yourself. You can add your mobile number, you can add your contact details, and send any email you send. It just gets to the user, and of course the person kind of has an idea of who this person is, right? And of course a great way to add some of your achievements. So you can have your awards, you can be MNI, whatever, right? Or GDG lead, for instance. All right, so to actually set up an email signature, you want to come to your your settings tab. So you see here I'm clicking on this cogwheel here, which is settings. Down here along this list you're going to see settings here. All right, so if you click on settings, it's going to take you to the settings page here, and there's quite a lot of stuff going on here right now, and I think maybe we might have a different video for this just on the settings page, but there's a lot hiding here. One thing we want to show you quickly, of course, like we said, is the the signatures here, right? So you see, by default signatures are disabled. Google has done a wise guess of saying, we don't want to know what you're going to use as your signature, so please go ahead and kind of enable it when you need it, right? So in this case we need it. Who doesn't need all right, so let's just quickly create a signature here. I just call it GDG Bingham University. Let's say the awesome, if you can type awesome, right? Awesome GDG community, right? All right, so so of course you can go ahead and style it. You have all these controls here to help you kind of edit how it looks like. So for instance, you want to make this bold, you want to increase maybe the font size, you want to make it large. Maybe here you just want to make it a different color here, maybe blue, stuff like that. Maybe you want to make it more pronounced, so you want to change the font to something maybe like Georgia or something will do. All right, so this is just an example, right? Of course you can go ahead and add so many things here. Maybe your Google plus handle links if you want. If you like, you can add maybe just a lot of stuff, right? Maybe Twitter handle stuff, right? So in this case it's going to be at GDGBHU, right? So of course you can go ahead and style it all you want. You can make this red, for instance. Let's go with Gmail. Twitter is I don't think it's blue. Twitter is what, light blue, I guess. All right, so maybe you can't really see it very well here, but anyway, you get the idea, right? This is how you enable email signatures, and once you're done, don't forget to click save changes, right? Because of course you just made a change, and once you do that, anytime you compose an email, you see, bam, automatically you have an email signatures. So of course, if you don't know about email signatures or you don't know how to set up one, now you know how to set up one, right? All right, so the next thing I want to show you here is actually the inbox types. So what are inbox types right now? Inbox types are simply ways to kind of filter your emails. So for instance, if I go to the inbox tab here, you can see we have this drop this chevron here.
Yeah.
And if you click on the chevron, for instance, if I can pick my chevron here, if you click on the chevron here, you can see different inbox types here. Of course, you can say I want my inbox to be arranged based on the unread messages first.
Yeah.
So for instance, you have a lot of unread messages here, so of course unread first will not really serve because everything here is unread, so it will be there. But let's say some emails are important, so let me go ahead and hit some couple of emails. So let's say these emails, I've marked them as important. Yeah. And I want to always arrange all my important emails first for every other email. So what I can do is I can come back to my inbox here, go into the inbox type and change it to maybe important first. So what will happen is Gmail will arrange the emails as you can see here, and then make it you can have two different sections here, important and then followed by everything else. So it's really cool. So of course you can already see the advantages here. You can say, okay, all my GGD correspondence is important, so I can go ahead and say, okay, all my GGD emails comes first, for instance. Of course, you can go ahead and check all the starred ones, the ones that have priority inbox, of course, and a whole lot here, of course. So but if you don't know about that, play with this, it will help you quite a lot.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next thing I want to show you here is keyboard shortcuts. Yay, this is my favorite, man. Like a lot of shortcuts you want to enable. You want to really see how to do some of these things without using your keyboard. How cool is that? Of course, we're all developers, so we always type to our shortcut keys. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people use a lot of mouse to develop, but I mean, hey man, we're not in the Dreamweaver days anymore, right? So I mean, anyway, you have something.
I can just imagine a world without the Ctrl-Z shortcut or something.
Yeah, it's weird, right? People just go find an undo button. Weird. Alright, anyway, so we're going to show you how to enable keyboard shortcut here. So as usual, everything is hidden under the settings page. So you go back to the cogwheel here, settings, click settings, and on the settings page here, just right before you get to where you have your button labels, you can see keyboard shortcuts. So at the same thing also as by default is disabled, so you want to make sure you enable by clicking keyboard shortcut here and turning it to on. Once you turn it on, as usual, don't forget to save changes. Now the moment you save changes, all the possibilities are unlocked, right? All the possibilities are unlocked. Alright, so let me quickly show you a simple workflow, and then of course we're going to see how to do some of those things with with the keyboard. So usually what I like to do, sometimes I just like to say, okay, I mean, all these emails are just junk, and I just want to mark them as read, because sometimes I'm not a fan of having a lot of numbers here. See, a lot of people have inbox and you see 1,500, 1,800. I mean, I'm not really a fan of that. I like to see my inbox 0. Then I have this feeling that I've attended to almost all the emails, stuff like that. So if what I normally do is I come to this option here. Of course, I can hit the checkbox here and select all the messages appearing here, and of course I can go ahead and go to more and click mark as read, or I can quickly just click on this chevron just below the selection here. So I'll deselect everything, click the chevron here, and then I'll click on unread messages. So by default, I mean, we already have all the messages unread, so it's going to go ahead and figure out those messages that are unread and select all of them. And of course I can go ahead and hit mark as read. So you see quickly now everything has gone. You can see here I just have my inbox clean as usual. In fact, I can go ahead and also make sure that I can mark them as unread, right? So of course, because it's read, so now I can mark it as unread, and then everything comes back, right? So that's another workflow. So another thing you can also look at is of course I can open an email. So let's say I want to select all these emails here, and I want to kind of archive it. Right, so archive means I'm going to store it somewhere. It's still part of my emails, but it's not going to be in my inbox. I mean, it's something I can quickly do. So I click archive, and you can see 2 conversations have been archived. And of course I can undo that. So let's say I don't want to do that, I click undo, and then all my mails are back. Alright, of course I can click on the message itself and open the message. I can go ahead and read the message if I like. So let's say for instance I want to reply to this email, right? So of course I can hit reply, and then of course reply the message if I want to. One thing you also see people do a lot is when you go back to compose, of course you can see these 2 buttons here. Of course you can add a carbon copy recipient. Of course you can add a blank carbon copy recipient as well. So of course you can hit this. Of course it creates a new field. You can hit BCC here. Of course it creates yet another field, and of course you can type a subject, type the message, and of course hit the send button. I think that's a lot of work for the mouse, don't you think so? I mean, of course it looks very nice and all, but I think it can be done better with shortcuts, right? Alright, so I just want to quickly show you just a quick stuff with the shortcuts, and then of course I'm going to start telling you what has been enabled, and then how you can do that yourself if you want to. So for instance, you can see here, just keep an eye on this blue highlight here. This blue highlight allows me to navigate. So for instance, I can use the blue highlight. You see, if I hit the down arrow key, right, you can see the blue label goes down. Of course I can keep hitting down or up. You can see it keeps moving. And of course, notice I'm not using my mouse. So if you Notice the mouse, the position of the mouse. You see I'm not really moving it, but I'll be really doing some stuff right now with the keyboard shortcut. So for instance, I want to select the first mail. I hit X, right? So of course I'm going to select the mail, and then I want to select this email, and this email, and of course let's say I want to delete this email. Of course I hit delete. So notice I'm not using the mouse right now. I'm just using a bunch of shortcut keys here. And of course let's say, oh my god, I made a mistake, I don't want to delete this guys again. Of course I can undo that. You can see all my mails will come back, right? In fact, I can even select all the mails that I've not read, unread, right? And I can mark them as read. I can of course go ahead and deselect them as usual. I can go ahead and use the up arrow key here. You can see, go to the first email, open it, and of course I can read the email. In fact, I can even reply to the email here, right? And this is really cool. This is really cool because sometimes you just don't want to get distracted by using the mouse or going back. Of course I can go back to the inbox if I like to, so I can do back to the inbox. You can see I've going back to the inbox here. I can read more messages and all that. All right, so of course you guys have seen just a taste of it. Of course there's quite a lot you can do with this things here, which I'm going to show you. Don't worry. So the first thing you want to notice here, of course, is the blue highlight, right? So the blue highlight is your key, like a go-to symbol that you can actually know where you are right now. And let's say I want to quickly show you how to select the email the first time, right? So to select this email, I hit the X button, the letter X, right? So once you for X-ray, so once you hit X, you can see it has given a check mark that it has selected the email. And of course I can use my up and down arrow keys to move up and down. All right, so I can go ahead and select a couple of emails here by using the down and X key. All right, so let's say I want to deselect the one of the mails here. Of course I can hit the X key again this time around. Because it's selected, it's going to unselect it. So you can see here I can use the X to toggle the select and unselect, of course. So let's say I want to select the first email here, of course using the X key, and I want to mark it as unread, right? So for me to mark it as unread, I need to hold the Shift and the I key, Shift and U key, sorry, right? So when you hold the Shift and U key here, you can see that the message has been marked as unread. And I can hit the Z key to undo what I just done, right? So Z, instead of using your normal Control Z, you hit the Z key here, right? So of course I hit Z, and you can see the message here is marked as read again. All right, so I want to quickly select I want to quickly select all the messages that are unread. So by default everything here is unread, is marked as read, sorry, right? So I want to select all the messages that are read. Of course I can use the star key. So if you're wondering where the star key is, I believe you can get it using the key combination Shift and 8, right? But if you have a keyboard that has a numpad, then it should be the star key close to your minus and the slash sign, right? So so you hit star, you just hit star followed by immediately followed by a letter, right? So the letter I want to use to select all these unread messages here will be star and U, right? So of course, but we already have read messages, we don't have unread messages, so I'm going to hit star and R, right? So star and R, letter R, quickly selects all the messages that have been read, right? So now of course I can now go back to my key combination here. Let's say I want to mark all these emails as unread, right? So if I want to mark them as unread, I hold the Shift key and the U key here. So notice I'm using the shortcut here, so the Shift key and the U key marks it as unread. Okay, so let's say I want to you notice the check mark by the side. Everything here is selected. So let's say I just want to deselect everything, right? Of course I can use the star key followed by the N key, right? So the star key and the N key will deselect everything here. That's literally how it works. So that's select none, right? And of course if I want to select everything, I can hit the star key and the A key to select all the emails. All right, so of course I can hit star and N again to deselect all. I can use my mouse to move up and down my arrow keys. I can select let's say this email, and this email, and I want to mark these emails as read, so I hit the Shift and the I key as read. And I want to deselect these 3 emails. Of course I hit the Shift and the N, the star and the N key, and this one will deselect what I've selected. All right, so this gives us an opportunity to play around with selecting a couple of emails. So for instance, I want to select all the emails that are read. Of course, so I use my key combination here. So I hit Shift and R, and you can see it just selects the just the emails that are read. And I hit star and R, right? So of course if I want to do the opposite, I want to select emails that are unread. Of course I can hit the star and the U key, and this inverts the selection. So pretty cool actually. Of course the workflow will just make it so easy that you can hit Shift and I, Shift and U to mark as read and mark as unread. One thing you can also do, of course, is you can also go ahead and quickly jump to the search key here. So let me go ahead and deselect all, and let's say I want to search for an email, right? I want to search for an email that was sent from Twitter. Right, so I want to quickly jump to the search bar at the top here, where you see the displays here right now. All right, so I'm just going to hit the / key, right? So if I hit the /, notice it quickly jumps into the selection, and then of course I can type emails from, let's say, info@twitter.com, and of course if I search the emails, I can go ahead and filter all the emails from Twitter as usual, right? Of course you can hit the / again, which quickly deselects everything here. Okay, and of course you can go ahead and go back to your inbox, right? So I'm going back to your inbox, you hit the G and the I key. Make sure you hit escape actually, because at this stage, if you type anything, it's going to type it on the search box, right? So you want to make sure you hit escape, right, just to make sure you're not in the search box, and then you can go ahead and hit G and I key. So what this will do is to take you back to your inbox, including all the messages. It's resetting everything you've done based on your selection. All right, so that's pretty cool. And what if I want to open an email, right? So all this while I've shown you how to select mark as read. I'm going to select, let's say I want to select this email here. I hit the X key as usual. Now I want to open this email. So to open this email, I hit the O key here for open, right? O. So once I hit O, it's going to go ahead and open the email, right? And of course you can read the email, right. So let's say it's an email you want to kind of reply at this stage, right? So to reply to this email right now, you hit the R key. Just hit the R key while you're inside the email itself, and to go ahead and jump into the reply. And of course you can type your reply. So this is the reply, but we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump back into our inbox. So notice I actually hit the escape key so that the cursor leaves where I'm actually typing my reply, and I'm going to hit the G and the I key to quickly jump back. And one thing you notice quickly is because I actually started typing stuff here, and now I am in the drafts. I'm now in the drafts. That you can see we have stuff in the draft folder. I can actually quickly navigate to each of to all those folders you can see right there. So for instance here, I just want to quickly navigate to the draft. I can hit the G and the D key, and then you can see it has taken me to the draft part of the email. And of course I can hit the X key because it's the only email there, and of course I can hit O key, and if I jump back to there, you can see I can continue my reply, right, and all that. So pretty much standard, right? So I'm just going to leave it here just for our navigation sake. So I'm going to go back to the inbox using the G and the I key once I hit escape. So what I want to quickly do now is to show you now how to kind of compose an email quickly, right? So right from here, I just want to compose a new email. So what do? You just hit the letter C for compose. So once you hit C, you notice the compose window comes up, and of course you can type the email you want to send to. So let's say I want to send an email, right? And let's say I want to quickly add a carbon copy. I want to copy someone for this email. What you can do is you can actually hold the combination Control Shift and C. So once you hold Control Shift and C, or Command Shift and C if you're using a Mac, it's going to quickly jump into the carbon copy and allow you to type the carbon copy users there. So for instance, you can type an email here, and let's say you want to add a blank copy, for instance. So the same thing, you can hold Control or Command Shift B. This time around it adds a blind copy. So of course you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to type it GDG, Bingham, stuff like that. And of course you can go ahead and type the subject. So this is the awesome subject, and this is fun, right? So of course now I've done that. Then how do I send it? Because remember, I need to hit the send button. But you don't have to worry, right? So while you're inside while you are done with your email, you can hit the Control and the Enter or the Control and Return key, and you can see your message has been sent. All right. So notice I've not used the mouse yet. Of course I've sent the message, and of course the message has gone. So how do I check my sent messages and know if the message has gone, for instance? Well, of course you're in log. You can hit the G and the T key. So you hit the G and the T key, it takes you to your sent messages. You can see right now we're in the sent messages. If you notice, using the mouse, you can see it's right here. Of course I can quickly use the G and the I key to quickly jump into
the inbox.
My inbox, and of course you can see the email has come because I added a blank copy right to the same email here. All right, so far you can see it's really cool. There are a couple of stuff I want to show you as well, and that's actually using the inbox sections, that Gmail introduced just some moment ago. I mean, I don't know if it's a couple of months ago, right? So what they do is they try to help you filter your email and categorize it based on sections. So you see, right now we just use the default email inbox section, and then nothing happens here. All right. So if you want to actually enable the inbox sections here, you want to go back to the cogwheel here. We're not going to settings like we did previously. What we're going to is configure inbox. So the moment you click the configure inbox, you notice we have the select tabs to enable here. By default, we only have the primary tab here, right? Of course, that's your primary email. But let's go ahead and add social, just to show you how that works. Social, and let's say promotion here, and I hit save. Now notice momentarily what will happen. You notice all my mails have gone. Well, they've not really gone actually. What Gmail has done is it has tried to categorize all the emails, filter the emails based on what it feels will be social, what it feels will be, promotion, right? Of course, I can use my mouse to hit up the tabs, and go via the tabs. But we are still under the section of shortcut keys here. So how do I use my shortcut keys to navigate through all these inbox sections? And that's where you use the backticks key. So if you don't know what the backticks is, for the non-developers in the audience, a backticks is the key next to the one on your keyboard. Now, of course, if you're using a numpad, you don't want to. Well, we're not talking about the numpad section of your keyboard. We're talking of the main keys where you have the numbers 1 through 9 and 0. So the first key before the number 1, so that's the backticks key. And of course, if you hold the shift and hit the backticks key, it actually uses the tilde key, right? So we're going to use this to navigate back and forth, next and previous. So let's say I want to move to the next inbox section here. Of course, I'm going to use the backticks. Of course, you notice it has moved to the next section. I'm going to hit backticks, it moves to the next section and all. Of course, I can hit the shift and the backticks, which just uses the tilde, right, to go back to the previous inbox section. So pretty cool actually. Very, very cool stuff. Of course, you can enable the remaining inbox sections, and of course, you can see how the Gmail tries to figure out how to arrange your emails for you. And of course, it gets better with time. The moment you keep telling it move your emails to a particular location. Now, the next thing I want to show you here is creating filters, right? So let me go to the next tab here. You notice under social we have a lot of Twitter emails. So let's say I want to filter all my Twitter emails. I don't want anytime Twitter sends an email, it comes and clogs or kind of clutter my inbox. I just want it to go somewhere else, mark as read, and then move somewhere else. Well, we are in luck because Gmail allows you to do that. So of course, we're just going to select one of the emails here, and you can hit the period, right, the number, the full stop sign, and notice it has gone under the more section here, and I can use my mouse to go down until I go to the filter message like this key, and if I hit that, it's going to bring up a filter window here, right? It's going to bring up a filter window, and of course I can go ahead and create some very advanced filters here. I can say, in fact, what I want is even the message that is coming from info@twitter.com and going to Barkafori, at gmail.com, or that has a specific subject or has some kind of words or keywords. Anyway, but for now, this example here, I just want to show you how to just create the simple one. Just want to filter all info@twitter.com. I'm gonna click create filter, and notice what you have here. You have a lot of options to do that. Of course, what do we want to do when this email comes from info@twitter.com? So here we can say we want to skip the inbox. We don't want it to even appear in our inbox. We just want to quickly archive it, or we just want to mark it as read, right? So we want to mark it as read, and of course we can go ahead and say, okay, we want to start it. In fact, we can go ahead and say we want to even apply a particular label to it. All right, so of course you can choose a label. If you don't have any label here, you can go ahead and create it, right? So let's say we want to create this label and say Twitter emails, right? And go ahead and hit create, right? So notice right now we have a label called Twitter emails. So all the mails that are coming from info@twitter.com will be tagged as as Twitter emails. If we want to even say, you know what, we don't want to do anything, we just want to delete it, right? Or we want to forward these emails, or want to never send it to spam, right? Or we can even go ahead and categorize it, right? So category is what you saw as inbox sections. So if I hit category, you can see you can go ahead and put it under personal, social, and all that. So let's say we don't want to do that. We just want to mark it, apply a label to it, and of course, you can go ahead and delete it or archive it right now. So one thing you want to also do here is notice right now we already have existing emails, right? So, but what we are saying is we want it to apply to any email that comes from info@twitter.com. So what happens to the emails that are already in our inbox? Well, I can go ahead and hit also apply to a filter that has 12 matching conversations. So what that simply means is, right now within this conversation, we already have 12 matches based on our search. That's the ones that are currently existing. So I can actually go ahead and select this option here and hit create filter. So what Gmail will do, notice all my mails have gone, right? So what will happen now is, all my mails have gone, right?
Yeah.
So I can hit the key and you can see, oh, where are my Twitter emails? I can't find them anymore, right?
Yeah.
So something has happened, right? And this is because it's our filter that is actually working on them right now. So what the filter has done, like we said, is going to archive the message, going to create a label called Twitter emails, and it's going to put all the messages there and mark them as read. All right, so pretty cool stuff that we've done. Of course, we can go ahead and check, our labels here under Twitter emails. You see all our Twitter emails here.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff, right? Yeah. So let's go back to our inbox here, right? Let's go and even see how do you even create a filter, for instance, right? So yeah, I'll just show you how to create a filter. Of course, you can add an inbox section if you want, and I just want to quickly tell you more about the just more about the combo keys that I've been mentioning here.
Yeah.
So quickly, just to remind you what we can do here. So let's say I open the email that we're seeing right now, and notice because I have this email copied to multiple people, I have a new option under the reply here where you see reply all. What reply all does is it's going to reply to all the recipients of this email, right? Both the ones that have been copied, carbon copied, and blind copied. Of course, if you want a shortcut to quickly reply to all, you can hit the A key while you are inside the email, and the A key simply will reply to all, right? If you hit the R key is going to reply the email. If you hit the F key, for instance, the F key is going to forward it. So let me just show you that in action quickly. I'm going to hit the R key to reply. Notice it quickly jumps into the email, and I'm going to reply and say, this is the best trick, right? And of course, I'm going to hit Control Enter to send the email. But right now, I'm still inside the email itself, right? That's one I've replied. Of course, I just replied to one person because I hit reply. But one thing I want to quickly show you also is notice the blue key right now here. Notice the blue here. It's already in the in this section here. How do I navigate using my keyboard to go to the next section here? Right. So I'm going to use the P key. P simply means previous, right? So the previous conversation. So if I hit the P key, notice the blue will jump to the previous one, right? So if I'm already in the previous one and I want to reply the previous one, of course I can go ahead and do that. Of course I can hit the A key, and the A key simply replies to all of them. That's from the previous message, and notice my reply comes between the previous email and the next one, right? So of course I can go ahead and say, okay, this is to reply all, right? I hit Control Enter, and of course it goes. So you can see my my reply to all just goes, is arranged in the next one. So you can see you can do almost a lot of stuff. So let's say I'm on the last email here, I want to forward it to someone else, right? Of course I can hit the F key, and the F key is going to allow me forward the email. So I want to forward it to, let's say, right? And I'm going to say this is the forwarded email. Control Enter, and I've sent the message, right? So you can see how cool it is to actually use all the shortcut keys. In fact, what you can do, it doesn't just stop here, right? What you can quickly do is you can even say, I want to label this message, right? This has been a very great, this has been a great conversation. I want to label it. Of course, you can hit the L key, and you notice that it brings up the label, right? So just like we had the Twitter emails, of course we have a couple already, social promotion updates. I can go ahead and actually say I want to create a new label, right? And say, okay, new label, let's call this awesome, awesome chat or something, right? Of course I'm going to hit enter to create the label, and then now I have awesome chat. And of course this message has been labeled as awesome chat. So for instance, if you go to your labels section of your email, you're going to find awesome chat. All right. And of course, apart from that, what we can do is also we can move it to a folder, right? So of course there's a difference between the label and a folder, and the label is just tag the message with something, just like a tag, right? And a folder simply means it's just a different storage area, right? So let's say we were already in the inbox is a folder. When the outbox, or sent messages or sent mail, that's the folder. Right? So what we can do is we can quickly just do that by simply going and saying, okay, I want to hit the V key. So if you hit the V key, it's going to jump to the folder. You notice it's going to say, okay, go move to folder, and where do you want to move it to? So we want to move it to awesome chat. So it's actually having the label of awesome chat, and it has actually moved to awesome chat. So I hit awesome chat and notice the message has gone, right?
Yeah.
That's because the messages are actually in awesome chat. All right, so yeah, you can see some of the combos. Now of course the ones you can apply all the time to move from one point to the other is actually the, you know, if you want to quickly mark all the red files, like I said, you hit the star and the R key for red. So let's say I select this email and I mark it as unread using Shift I, and I deselect the message. I can mark it. I can mark the select the unread messages by holding the star and the R key, and you can see this has selected the red messages.
Yeah.
What if I mark this message as read? So Shift U and deselect. Then I can go ahead and hit star and U to select the unread messages.
Yeah.
Right, and of course I can go ahead and mark it as read. I can go ahead and select none, right? So hit the star and the N key to select none. I can go ahead and select all, of course, by hitting the star and the A key.
Yeah.
Of course, star and the N key to select all. I can quickly jump into my inbox by typing the G and the I key followed by the I key, right? And one thing you can also do is once you select the email and you open it, you can quickly refresh the, your inbox and go back, refresh and go back to your inbox at the same time by hitting the U key. So the U key refreshes and tries to figure out if there are new mails in your inbox, and at the same time takes you right back to your inbox.
Yeah.
And of course you can see our mail is still selected, so I can hit the star and the N key. Alright, so one more thing I just want to show, just want to quickly show before we end the video here, is actually using labs. Right, so labs are a great way to add more features to your Gmail. So what I like to do quickly, just to show you guys, is still under the settings tab. You go to settings, you can see here we have a tab called labs. So if you click labs, these are various labs that are available, various contributions by the community and some maybe staff of Google that tries to kind of enhance your the experience of Gmail, right? So one of the ones I like a lot is actually the if I can find it, it's really cool. Actually, I like it, so I use it a lot. So it's the mark as read button. So it's a button actually that it's added to your right, so this is it, mark as read. So I'm going to go ahead and actually select enable. Of course you can go ahead and enable any lab feature you want. Anyway, a point to note, you see why Google says some crazy experimental stuff. What this means is they've not actually made it into the existing Gmail yet, but there are stuff contributed that Google is not vouching for. They may break or disappear at any time, right? So I mean, I like where they say that, and the idea is because sometimes you want to test an idea and they release it as an experimental feature. So it depends on if people like it or not. If people don't like it, I mean, there's no sweat, they go ahead and just discontinue the work on it. Or if people like it, then they'll find a way to actually move it to the official version of Gmail, for instance. Alright, so I've selected mark as read button, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now one thing with labs is anytime you enable the lab feature, it's going to log you out, log you back in, just to refresh every single thing here and make it available. So for instance now, just to show you what this means, if I hit the X key to select the email, notice here at the right top, just before my delete icon here, notice I have a new button here that says mark as read. Now because this message is already marked as read, I'm going to mark it as unread, and of course you can see I have the button mark as read. Of course, this is just a button for convenience, so I like it a lot. Sometimes I feel it's very I have to go very, very far to hit more and then mark as read, for instance. But I don't want to do that, right? I just don't want to do that. So for instance, I just want to select this message more, and then of course I can hit mark as read. But now the option has gone because it has moved to a button right at the top here.
Yeah.
Right, so very, very convenient here, and that's because I enabled labs. So if you're using your Gmail and you don't enable this lab feature, of course you won't see this option or this button, and then you're going to find it under more and then mark as read. Or of course, as usual, your shortcut, you can go ahead and hit shift and I to mark as read, star and N to select all. So I think guys, there you have it. If you have any questions or any kind of comment or more features you feel you can actually share with us, let's have it in the comment section of this video. If you want to chime in, you want to add stuff about it.
Yeah, I just want to say it's amazing the kind of shortcuts these guys actually integrated into Gmail, because they actually use basic alphabets like star and A, select all from your normal SQL queries and stuff like that, star and R, select read messages and so forth. So this kind of these features actually save time.
Yeah, you save a lot of time, and if you want to really know how much time it saves, try to really just use your normal workflow with the mouse. You have to click and drag and stuff, and just try to time yourself. Try to see how long it takes you to do something and how long it will take you to use a keyboard. I assure you, you're gonna have a lot of time you're saving here.
Yeah,
because
and
time is everything.
These features actually turn your Gmail into another kind of IDE.
Yeah, I mean, you're used to your IDs. Now you don't have to worry so much about using a graphical email interface like Gmail and stuff.
Yeah.
Gmail has really considered that and has made it so friendly that you can use your keyboard shortcuts to go
Yeah.
around the email and do quite a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, so guys, if as usual, we are, willing to help you guys. If you have any problem, just as usual, put it in the comment section or on the blog part of our website. And I just want to quickly add something. Right now we are actually preparing for the Google I/O Extended for 2014.
Yeah.
So if you're within the area, please join us. It's going to be fun, and you're going to see a lot of our promotional stuff coming up in Google Plus, Twitter, and a lot. So stay tuned, guys, and hope to see you in the next one. From me and Barca, see you next time.